A small group today, but it's good because today's presentation is a little bit technical, so it'll give us an opportunity to answer all of your questions. I'll give a little moment for everyone to trickle in. We're also going to be live on Facebook, so we're going to get that set up, and I'll keep an eye on the questions there as well. Just a little housekeeping for before we get started. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We host these Montessori town halls every week on Thursday from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern. They're always free to join. We think it's important for Montessori leaders to have a space to connect, find support, and share a few important just leadership tips and keys to success. We invite speakers to come and share their wisdom. A lot of Montessori thought leaders have been able to join us and share a lot of great information with us. We also host open office hour weeks, which is what we're hosting this week, where we answer your questions about Montessori marketing, because that's where our expertise lies. We help schools grow their enrollment in the Montessori space. It's something that we're really passionate about, and we're here to answer your questions about marketing and growing your enrollment. So today we're going to be joined by Camille Campbell. She's here every single week hosting our calls, but she's going to be presenting on SEO for Montessori schools. This was requested back a few weeks ago when we did a 5 ways to grow your enrollment. There was a lot of SEO questions and there was a lot of interest in this. I think it's just because SEO is so powerful nowadays. So we wanted to host a town hall dedicated to this. Just to answer all your questions about SEO and get people a little bit inspired with some new strategies, because it is important, especially if your goal is to grow your enrollment. So I see that we're live on Facebook. So if you're joining us from there, feel free to use the chat. I'll keep an eye on the Facebook chat to see if questions come through. But for now, I'll just go ahead and pass it over to Camille Campbell, our Executive Director here at Nido Marketing, so she can share her presentation.
Yeah, hi, thank you, Camilla. Yeah, Facebook was complaining to me.
Technical issues.
Saying log in, and then I am logged in. But yeah, so today we're going to talk about, it's great to see everybody. Let me actually, maybe Camilla, you can keep an eye on the chat for me.
Yes.
But we're going to talk about SEO for Montessori schools. Like Camilla said, this is something that was requested. And it is kind of gets into a little bit of, it gets a little technical, but in any case, I think it's good information, and you can maybe some of you might have, more information and can talk a little bit more about it. But we'll just dive in here. So what we're going to go over is first, what is SEO? And then also how do search engines work? What are the important components of SEO? So we'll get into that. How do you improve your SEO? So what are the good approaches? And then also what tools are available to measure and analyze how you're doing with that. And then when will I see results? So we'll kind of go through all of this today. So what is SEO? So SEO is search engine optimization, is the art and science of getting your website found in the free or organic space of Google, Yahoo, and Bing. We're going to focus on Google because Google is the mammoth, the behemoth of search engines, obviously. But anything that you do to improve your search results on Google will most likely also improve them on the other platforms. So notice I said art and science, because the whole getting yourself ranked high on a search engine, it's kind of the algorithms that Google employs. It's kind of a black box. We know the fundamentals, but it's still kind of an art to getting your pages to rank high. So it is sort of an art and science there. So what is the goal of SEO? I'm going to bring up the chat because I want to see this. I'd like you maybe just drop in the chat what you think the goal of SEO is. Why do we care about it? I mean, it might seem obvious, but I think it's important to think about. What is it, when you hear that, when you hear SEO, improve your SEO, what does it mean to you? Get your business on the front page of the search. Yep. Key phrases to find the website, specific interests. Yep. Those are great. Yep. We show up when people search for Montessori schools in the area. Becoming more visible in searches. Right. Right. Absolutely. Those are all correct. What I kind of want to go through, and this is really what you all just said, is to improve your rankings, right? To improve how well your school's site or pages on your site show up on your on a search engine result page when someone searches. But when you think a little bit more about that, what I want you to think about is why. So if you're showing up higher on the page, then you're going to, by sort of, not by definition, but most likely you're going to increase traffic to your website, because people are going to be asking questions, and then they will be, you will show up on that result, and they will be more likely to click on your page because they have, you've shown up really on that first page. And what's that going to do? That's going to increase traffic to your website, and then that's going to generate more leads, right? The more traffic you have to your website, the more leads are going to come into your website. It just kind of follows through. It's just giving you this bigger, more people coming into the top of the funnel there, when you think about it that way. And then ultimately, that's going to increase your enrollment. So that's why we do this, and that's why it's important. Now, how do search engines work? So obviously, it's enormously complex. What happens is that, Google is out there, you've heard of crawlers, maybe bots or spiders. It's all the same word for the same thing. I mean, different words for the same thing. And what it is it's going out there, and it's just going through searching all of the pages on the internet. Imagine the enormity of that. And what it is doing is it is creating an index of pages, not sites, but pages on the web. And that index is just an enormous database of all the pages that are on the internet. So it relies on a proprietary algorithms and a complex formula to deliver ranked results. So it's ranking all those pages based on a lot of different factors. And those are the factors we're going to talk about today. And we try to influence the ranked results by making sure we meet the best practices against the most important components of that algorithm, right? So we try to put our best foot forward with our website so that the search engines get as much value out of the website as our users do, so that they show our results when that algorithm calculates. So you want to make sure your pages have as much value in them and there's a lot of different components to it, but you want, if you're providing value to the visitors on your website, then Google will know that and also rank you higher. So that's how we improve the page position on the results page. Before we dive into the different components of SEO, I thought it would be a good idea to go through the sort of the anatomy of a search engine results page, or a SERP, as we call it in the business here. So here, I hope you can see this. I did this and screen captured this Montessori near me. And so this is, you can do, obviously you've done this a lot, and you can see what this is, a search engine results page. This is what we're referring to here. So before we talk about SEO, the top result is going to be paid ads. So Google ads, paid ads, they're not SEO. They are powered by Google ads. They're very effective. They're sold on a cost per click basis. So if someone were to click on this link, this is actually a school, the school that I started, and where, you know, Nido is running ads for them. The ad comes up first. You're basically buying the top spot on that search results page. It's not helping the SEO for this school, but it is giving that school that very top spot. So you're paying for that privilege there. It's easy to track the return on investment for Google ads, because if someone clicks on a specific ad like this and then ends up scheduling a tour and enrolling, you can trace that journey there and say, okay, 5 people clicked on that ad, 2 people scheduled a tour, and 1 person enrolled. So you really know what your return on investment is there. Advertisers have a very tight control over Google ads in terms of the radius around a geographic area, zip codes, all that. You can really kind of dial in where you want these ads to show, and then how much you want to spend, what's your ad budget, and then it is a whole process for determining keywords and bidding, and it's an auction-based system. So it's quite complex, but it is a way to kind of short circuit the SEO world and get yourself to the top of the search engine results page. So that aside, we're not going to talk about that anymore, because paid ads are a separate beast, but they do show up on that page. So the next thing that you might see, if you scroll down, if there is an ad, there might not be an ad, depends, is what is called the local results. And what this is, it's also sometimes called the 3-pack, because there's usually 3 here. Now you can see that this is an ad. So this is an ad that shows up as well. So it's just reinforcing that, that school's presence here. But what Google has done with, well, I should back up. These are powered by Google My Business. So if you have not claimed your Google My Business profile, you definitely need to do that. And if you have, but haven't really paid much attention to it, go in and flesh it out a little bit. There is a lot you can do with that. It's ever growing. You can put your blog post there. You can, you know, make sure your hours are there, your reviews, your location. But you can see how valuable this is, because you can see the link to the website, directions. There's a map here. So it is it's great, valuable real estate on that search engine results page. It's free also. And if you can rank up here, if you can get into this 3-pack, it's a really great place to be. Now, there is some personalization based on the searcher's previous behavior. So because I've probably searched for Hollis Montessori School many times, it's showing up a lot for me, because Google's saying, hey, this person's really interested in this school. So if my person down the street did the same search, it might not show up exactly the same, but chances are it's going to be pretty similar. Are there any questions about this 3-pack in the Google My Business? I don't have the chat up, so I'll bring that back up. Okay. All right. Moving on.
Camille?
Yeah.
Just one quick question. I have done this a while back and I forgot. How do I access the Google My Business?
If you just go to, just type in Google My Business.
Right, I see.
And then, you need to log in and kind of, and you're probably, like for me here, if I go to, if I search on, so I manage Nido Marketings, right? So if I go here, this is Nido Marketings here,
Right.
And then I can just go right in and, manage it from here.
Okay,
So,
okay,
yeah.
all right. So, okay, I think that's what I remember, but
Yeah.
I'll try to look into it.
And if not, then if you just go to Google, like Google My Business,
Hmm.
let's see what happens. Manage now. So it's bringing me to my, so see, it knows because I'm a manager of Nido Marketing.
Correct.
So it goes right there.
Okay. If I'm logged into Google already, so it knows. I mean, I don't have to really authenticate anything else. It'll automatically take me there, I think.
If as long as the email that you're logged into is the same one that is
Right.
manager of your Google My Business page, then it'll just connect you. Yeah.
Would that be the same as logging into Google Analytics, or they're two different? I mean, would that be the same login credentials?
Probably.
Yeah, I think
Depends on how you set them up, but
okay.
yeah.
Thanks.
And we can help you with that if you
I know.
yeah. All right. So then we get down to even the organic results have gotten a little more complicated in the last few years. It used to just be the plain listings, but now you might have, now this is a different search. So I searched on Montessori math, and here you see like a mix of real estate, right? So this is called a snippet. And what this is it's featured content. It's still just a page out on the web. It's not a paid placement here, but it's a page that Google has deemed to be valuable and a good answer to my query here. So it's featuring it. So this is really, really valuable to get, and it's hard to get. And for schools, it might not even be, I mean, this would be a great one. This school has it, montessorischoolhouse.org. But you know, it's pretty tough to get. But this, just to kind of give you the lay of the land here in terms of what the different parts of the results page are. And then there's also this people also ask, which is very similar to a snippet. It's not quite as high up there, but it's just Google anticipating some other questions that you might have because of what you searched on. And then this things to know is also very similar. It's just not framed in a question. It's just other things. And so all of these, if I were to expand, and this is just a screenshot here, would basically look something like this, where it's just linking to a page on the web somewhere that Google has said, this is a really great answer to this question, or this is a really great description of 5 principles. So these are different ways that Google can feature content that it thinks is really valuable. And then we get down to the other listings, but just to mention these, like all of these, it's earned over time. And so that's why I look at it as long-term capital. It takes a while to get Google to recognize you as like this great answer to this question. It just, but once you do get there, it's really valuable because obviously more people are going to be clicking on this, driving more traffic to your website. And that just kind of snowballs into this great SEO. And then finally, this looks so boring in comparison, but this is really what we're talking about here, is just the traditional listing. So this is the order of, again, I'm back to Montessori near me, of schools and things that Google has deemed to be a good answer to my question, right? So it's coming up with a couple of local schools. It has the AMS, find a school page. And this is all really relevant. Like this would be a great link for me to click on. And here's the AMI school locator down here. Find a Montessori school near you. So this is top 3 best Montessori schools in New Hampshire. So these are all great results. And what you want to do is try to be one of the schools that shows up right up here. So that's what we're going to talk about. So that is an overview of the landscape of that search results page. Is there anybody that has any questions about that before we move on to SEO? Okay, so kind of look at these foundational areas when we're, as far as areas to focus on when it comes to SEO. They haven't really changed much in the past several years. In other words, they're sort of like the fundamental things. Things might, the weight of importance of certain aspects of some of these might start to increase in importance, but in general, these are the things that are fairly fundamental and important. You should strive to be strong in all 4 of these areas. So it's not like you can, say, have 95% on 3 of these and then 10% on 1 of them. It doesn't work that way. You really need to have all of them working in concert together to have great SEO. So you should strive to be strong in all 4 areas. You can spend an infinite amount of time trying to improve your SEO. So it's really best to focus on where you're going to get the most improvement. And it's just an ongoing thing, because one of the things that, and I'll talk about this, one of the things Google rewards is fresh content. So it's not something that you can just say, okay, my site's great, I'm getting great SEO. But if it just sits there for 2 years without any updates or anything, then it's going to start dropping down. So it's just an ongoing process. So technical SEO. The first pillar of SEO success is technical SEO. Why? In order for the search engines to show your website in the search results, they first need to find and index it. So these are the things that I would say that this is the one that's really, if I had to weight any of them to be most important, this one really is, because this is what it kind of makes or breaks a site and pages if it's not working well. So these are the components of technical SEO. There's many things that it looks for, but these are kind of the main ones. So the robots that, I know this is getting really technical and I'll just kind of try to skim over it a little bit, but so a website is just a bunch of files that are on the internet under your domain. So when I talk about robots.txt, that is just a file that is sitting out there on the internet, not under your domain. It tells the search engines where not to go on your website. You don't have to have one, but you might, some examples of why you might have a robots.txt file is with pages in it. If you have a thank you page, for example. So it's not a password protected page, but say somebody fills out a contact form and then and we create these on the sites we do, a thank you page. Thank you for contacting us. Someone will get back to you soon. You don't really want Google to index that thank you page because it doesn't have any valuable content for somebody searching on anything, right? So that would be an example of something that would be in a robots.txt file. So the XML sitemap is kind of the opposite of that. That is, it's like a roadmap. It gives Google, it tells Google how to index your site. So, and it's updated as your site is updated. So if you make an edit on a page, then Google, even if it's a page that's already been there for a long time, but then you go in and maybe update a little bit, add a photo, change a little text, then it will be recorded in the sitemap that this page was updated on October 20th. And so then Google knows like, oh, there's something fresh here. And so Google likes that. Again, I should preface this with your platform, your web platform will take care of all of this for you. You personally don't need to worry about this. Meta directives tell Google how to crawl the content on a specific page. So I'll talk a little bit more about metadata and things, and it gets most time you just want to say, yeah, I want you to crawl this page, and you don't really need to give it any more instruction than that, and other than a few things that I'll be talking about in a minute. But you can get really fancy with some of this, but for the most part, you really just want the structure of the page to speak for itself. Site speed is becoming more and more important in terms of Google rankings. So people don't like to go to a slow website. And so everyone finds value in a fast one. And so Google finds value in that as well. So it is becoming more important, but for now, like, good is good enough. You don't have to strive to be like blazingly fast, but it's about making sort of incremental improvements when you can. So things that would help would be, there's a lot of kind of under the hood things, like you don't want to have a lot of JavaScript, for example, running before a page loads, because that slows down the page load. You don't want to have images on your website that are super high resolution. You want nice ones because screens are pretty big these days, but you don't need the super high. And you've probably been to a site where you see where an image loads like this. And it doesn't need to, it's because it's loading way more resolution than you can even discern with your eye on a screen. Screens are pretty low resolution. So anyway, so those are the things that can affect site speed. So you want to make sure that your photos aren't too huge, and you don't want to have too much content on any one page. Again, it's about making incremental improvements there. Mobile usability, the algorithm for Google uses to determine mobile usability has evolved. It has taken time for sites to become mobile friendly, but now it's really becoming more of a requirement. Google is getting a little more picky about that. So, so it's kind of ahead of the curve from site speed. Site speed will probably get there at some point, but for now, like, mobile usability is really important. So if your site doesn't work well on a phone, Google's going to ding you for that, and you won't rank as high. Security is also really important. I don't know if you've heard the term an SSL certificate. This is what sites have now. For almost all sites have that now. So when you see when you look at the URL, you can see that part of it here, but HTTPS, that S is for secure. It makes this little lockup here. So if I click on that, it says connection is secure. So some sites, you've probably been there, where you can see and it's not secure. And so Google doesn't like that. It will penalize you in terms of your ranking if your site isn't secure. All it means is that the data set between the site and the visitor is encrypted. So no one in the middle can see that information. But now that's a requirement for having a good website. So, so the strength of your technical SEO is going to be based on the platform that you build your website on. So most modern website building platforms take care of all of this for you. So you don't need to worry about them, but they're important to know about. So the platform we use, Duda, takes care of all of this. So, it automatically makes sure it works well on a phone and all of that. Any questions about any of this? Oh, this is from Tina. Are all web platforms created equal? Are some better than others? Yeah, some are better than others. I can't really speak for the ones that aren't so great, but that would be a good question for Google. I don't want to ding any website development platforms, but some of them are more. So WordPress, for example, has a lot of different plugins and things, and so they can get out of date, and sites can get kind of messed up. And just by the nature, it's sort of like a PC versus a Mac. PC. Anyway, maybe I'm dating myself here, but you could kind of get yourself a little more messed up because there's more freedom to do different things. And so in that sense, I know like WordPress sites can get kind of messed up, but most modern ones, like the one we use, Duda, and then like Squarespace, Wix, I believe, will probably take care of all of this for you. Now, some are probably going to be better at improving the speed of your website. So, for example, our builder automatically scales images, so we can't even load images on a website that are too big. Even if we upload it to the website, it's going to scale it down so that it's not too big. I don't know if other website platforms do that. So not a great answer. Sorry, I don't know off the top of my head, but again, a good query for Google there. Okay. The next pillar, okay, thanks. The next pillar of SEO that I'm going to talk about, how am I doing on time? 2 o'clock. Content. So content has been the backbone of SEO since its inception. It's how you share your expertise, right? That's really what you're doing. You're sharing about your school, everything, all the details, your expertise about Montessori. And it's your expertise that Google values and rewards in terms of how it ranks you, right? It ranks your pages. And it's all the ways. It's the text, but it's also blogs, it's videos, it's everything that you have on your website is your website content. So here are sort of the components that Google will consider when looking at your website content. So it needs to be descriptive, well-written. So the quality has to be high, and it has to be in a form that Google can understand. So I remember, and sometimes people still do this, is that they'll have a paragraph of content and they will, of words, and they'll format it in an image and put that on their page. Well, Google can't really read that very well. So that's a really poor practice. That's just an example, and people don't do that as much anymore, but we used to see that a lot more before we had some more finer control of how actual text appears on websites. So in any case, you really have to, there's no skirting this. You really have to provide good content. That's really what Google is looking for. The keywords. So keywords are words that people might search on, right? Or for finding your school or inquiring about Montessori, any of that. And what you want to do is include those keywords in your content, because Google will look at that and find it in your content and then see that it's a match and rank you higher if someone's searching on that keyword. So you want to try to incorporate your best keywords into your content, and you want to think outside the Montessori box, because obviously there are words that people associate with Montessori, but then think about what parents might be searching on if they don't know anything about Montessori. So they might be searching on preschool, they might be searching on private elementary school, they might be searching on childcare. So these are things that you need to find a way to incorporate into the content of your site. And there are, you can figure out ways to do this without calling yourself a preschool or childcare. And so those are things to think about when you're writing the content for your website. Recency is also really important. It's important to try to keep your website fresh. Remember I talked about that XML sitemap? That's where Google looks to say, hey, this page was recently updated. It's important to add new content regularly. That doesn't have to be daily. It doesn't even need to be weekly, but I think at least once a month, you should probably be doing something on your website just to freshen it up a little bit. And so that will it kind of does like a reset, and Google says, oh, something's new here, and it gets interested and it goes in and it'll crawl that page again. The type of website as well, the type of content is is also important in the sense that Google really values having different kinds of content. So text, but also photos and videos and testimonials. I guess testimonials would probably fall under, I see your, yeah, fall under text, but you know, all the different types of content, Google likes that. Wally's asking, how practical is it to update content regularly? Well, I think that we're talking about SEO here, so I would say at least monthly, and that's kind of where the blogs come in too. And I was going to mention that blogs are a great way to keep your content updated. So even if it's once a month, it doesn't have to be even that much, because it's just going to trigger oh, this is new, I better go check it out, and go, you know, make a few edits, maybe add a testimonial, or change out a photo, or just modify the verbiage of a paragraph a little bit. Think about, oh, I want to somehow work in the word preschool into this page. How can I do that? And then just do that. So does updating the calendar count? It depends on how the calendar is on your website. So if it's a Google Calendar embedded, I'm not sure, I guess is my answer there. And if it's actually something formatted on the page, see, Google has to be able to see it to know that it's current. So
it is part of the WordPress, Camille.
okay.
It's not.
I'd have to check your site, Wally, to see.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't remember exactly how yours is on your site. So, okay. So on-site optimization, this is now the third pillar here we're at. Elements on your web pages which help the search engines derive more meaning from the page and its content. So these are things that are kind of under the hood that help Google crawl your pages. I talked about metadata before. These are like tags on your website that are in the header of each page, and they don't show up on the actual page, but it is the title of the page and like the description. So let me just show you, what can I show you here? So this is one of our schools, and if where that meta title shows up is just in the tab here. So this is the title of the page. And this is also what Google will display as at the top of here. Well, not there, that's an ad. Let me get back down to here. So this is the title. This is not a very good one, actually. It should have a little bit more here. And then this is the meta description. So this is not something that is on the page itself. It might be, but this is actually what is in the description tag on the page. Does that make sense? And what it does, metadata, it just tells the search engines what the page is about. Along those lines, you don't want to, for example, you can see here that a lot of people sometimes will put like home here, and you've seen that, but you don't see it so much anymore, but that's not very helpful, is it? I mean, every website has a home page. It's not telling Google anything other than it's your home page. So what you want to do is, if possible, a general rule of thumb would be for the title to have on your home page, to have your school name, and then I like to use a vertical bar, and then your city, if it's not in your school name, and then another vertical bar, and then some keyword. So maybe it is, maybe it's preschool, because that's really one that gets searched on a lot. And you can see here, like for Chesterfield, I have over this, get it to come up, preschool to elementary. So this is a great place to kind of hide some keywords. On your other pages, like the lower pages of your site, a good kind of practice is to have the keyword phrase from that page. So maybe elementary, for example, and then the name of your school. So that homepage, you want the school name first, the city, if it's not in your school name, and then maybe a keyword. If you have room, you only have 55 characters. So Montessori is a long word, so typically you might not have enough space to put all of this in. But and then on the other pages, put that keyword phrase first and then the name of your school. Again, if you have someone building your site for you, you don't need to worry about this, but these are things that are on a page-by-page basis, so they do get more into sort of the content. A website builder can't do this automatically for you. All right, and then so the heading tags, these are the same as, you know, if you do a Word document and you have a title and then you have I don't know what how Word does it. Any document processing, you know, you have like the title and then you have a heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. That's what these are. And so you want to do the same thing. Let's see, do I have this here? So you can see here, this is a heading 1. And then if you go down here, this is hopefully a heading 2. I got to get out of that. I don't want to mess up their site while I'm demoing it. So this is a heading 2. So you just want to kind of use a logical structure the same way you would in a document if you wanted to like create an automated table of contents, because that's how Google is going to be able to sort of understand better what's on your page. And you want to use keywords in those titles if you can, in those headings rather. Then alt text is descriptive text for images, so that it tells Google has a hard time recognizing what's actually in an image. So it tells Google what is in the photo. It's also used for accessibility. This always needs work. I think on every website I've ever worked on, not all the photos have alt tags, but it's a good idea that could be something, Wally, you know, just go in and add a few alt tags. I know you wouldn't do that, but in terms of something that you could do to just improve the SEO is just like, oh, I've got 15 minutes. I'm going to go look at my website and see if there's any photos that need some descriptive text. And then that will trigger that, oh, there's something new here. And it also helps, with SEO. And then internal links, these kind of happen naturally. These are links to other pages on your site. For example, if you post a blog, and at the end you say, hey, if you want to learn more about this, schedule a tour, and you link off to your schedule a tour page. So these things are great. Also helps Google understand how to navigate through your site. So these are the things that we can do on your website. And then the final pillar is offsite SEO. So this is everything that happens off your website to build trust and authority about your school and your school's website. So we have less control over this, but it is really important. So for example, I could create a fake school website. In fact, I have created a fake school website. Our demo website is not a real school. And it won't rank high because Google won't trust it, because it won't have a Google My Business page. It won't have it. Nobody will link to it. It doesn't have any reviews. You know, these are all of the things that that make Google understand that this is really a valid business. So these are the things that you can do to help your SEO by providing sort of that endorsement outside of your website itself. So backlinks, that refers to links from other sites to your site. So one thing you can do is check what your competitors have in terms of backlinks. And as long as you're sort of in the ballpark and the same as other schools in your area, then I wouldn't worry about this too much. These are hard to build up, but think about like your local chamber of commerce, maybe, or your local town or city. Can you get a link to your school on that page? Montessori, like administrator groups or associations in your local area or state, can you get a link to your school on that, on AMI or AMS? Can there be links to your school from those pages? So those are all would be considered backlinks that would kind of provide that endorsement that Google is looking for, that you are a valid business. Again, backlinks are kind of long-term capital. You build these up and it takes a while. The other ways to do this, if you have time, nobody does, but I mean, write a press release about something that's happening at your school and see if you can get a newspaper to, everything is online now, to publish an article and then give a link to your school. So that's another way to get a link to your school. Reviews, again, are really important. Google reviews in your Google My Business profile. So we've talked about this before, to develop a process for asking for reviews, to just try to get those built up. And then social is actually not as important for SEO, believe it or not. Google can't really understand the social web as well as the actual, your actual site and links and things like that. So it's kind of an indirect method of improving your SEO, because people might learn about your content through your social. So it's not that it's not important, it's just not so much of a direct effect on your SEO. So if they learn about something on your site through social, and then they might read it and get excited about it and link to it. So that in that way it can be helpful, but in as far as like a direct, it's just too complex. The whole Facebook meta world is not something that Google can go in and at least as far as I know, decipher and use as a criteria for improving your SEO. So improving your SEO is really, it is a step-by-step process. It's an evolution. It's not something that you can just say, gosh, I've published my website, it's great. The SEO has got to be great right away. It takes a while. It takes a while for Google to crawl. We make changes to websites and it's like a month later before Google will go in and crawl it. And so it's an evolution. But some things you can do, and this is kind of gets back to things that you can do, is to review your website for keyword content. So go through it and think about what keywords people might be searching on. And there are tools for that too. I didn't reference that here, but there's obvious ones you probably know pretty much. And then see how you can incorporate those into your site content. Write a blog post. Those are great. Reach out for a new review on Google My Business. And it's not like you have to do all of these all the time, but just maybe set aside once a month, I'm going to do something to improve my SEO and do one of these things. Get out there in the world. Now, this is for the backlinks part of it. Write a guest post somewhere, maybe on another website, or like I said, have a press release, show up at a, maybe sponsor a town event, anything that kind of gets your school out there where you might have what might cause a link to go back to your website, is a great way to just try to start building up that library of backlinks. Okay, so the best SEO tools are free. These are ones that are great to use. There's Google Analytics. Google Analytics will tell you everything you need to know about your website, including ads, where they're coming from, what journey they take on your website. It gets very involved, and you can dig very deep to understand, how many people visited, when they come, what they click on, all of that. That's all in Google Analytics. Google Search Console is a little, I think, a little more user-friendly. This is what it looks like. If you just, and I have some links to Google Search Console in a minute, I'll show you. But this is, again, Chesterfield Montessori, which is this site that I showed you. You can see here, this is the performance over time. It shows how many pages are indexed. This is really, the Search Console really focuses on SEO, really. What the page experience is like. So it does very well for mobile. I don't know why it's saying 0 for desktop, but it is. There's no invalid events or anything like that. Search results here. So this is showing last 3 months. These are what people have searched on. So this is one place you can go to see what are people searching on, and then they're landing on your site. And then, there's all kinds of different pages that they go to. You can kind of lose yourself in here if you're so inclined, where they're coming from, what type of devices they use. So there's a lot of information here that you can use. Look, it's about more coming in through mobile than desktop, and tablet is always a distant third here. All your pages, how many are indexed, just gets in. These are pages that are not indexed. So you can see, like, excluded by the no index tag, which is the same as sort of the robots.txt that I had talked about. Sitemap. So we have submitted that sitemap.xml to Google here. So it was submitted in June, and then Google came back and read it on October, or just recently. Page experience here. All the URLs have a good page experience on mobile, not enough usage data to evaluate page experience on desktop here. So that's why here, but you can see, it's got pretty good ranking here for this. Again, mobile, desktop here, just not enough data here. It just hasn't had enough time to crawl the desktop version yet. So that's Google Search Console. You can get a lot of information here. And then I talked about Google My Business already. So again, that is something that you should go into and just keep adding to. That's a great tool to use. Here's a few more resources. Whoops, go back one here. Page speed will show you how fast. Let's see. So let me just put in this one. I think this takes a little bit, so let me go to the next one while that one turns. Backlinks will show you how many links, who links to your website from other sites. So again, let's see if we go to this one. I'll just keep using Chesterfield, and these are free. So you can see these are the sites that are linking to that school. And so it has a rating of 16, which might seem kind of low, but I think for Montessori schools in general, they're all pretty low. So I don't think you have to worry about that too much. But it is interesting to see who is, who is linking into your school. And this is a free tool for doing that. And then I already talked about Search Console, Analytics, and Google My Business. So here's some links for you that you can use to play around with those, and they're all free. So, all right, that's all I have. Any questions? I'm going to stop sharing here. That was a lot. Nothing?
I just have one question, Camille. Does your group offer services and help with SEO or no?
So the websites we build on our platform, we always make sure that they meet those. You know, we don't meet the standards that I talked about here with the technical SEO and you know, trying to incorporate keywords and stuff into the content. But as far as backlinks and things, we don't go out and try to solicit those for our clients. That's a tough one to do on an individualized basis. It really has to kind of come from your school, but we don't really do it for sites that are not on our platform.
I see.
It's too much. Yeah. Although I think I recently did sort of look at your site a bit, Wally.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So, yeah, SEO is like a long, slow slog to get there. Yeah. Thank you, Tina. I'm glad that was helpful.
Yeah, it really, really was. I know that I sometimes will see the SEO, you know, they sort of grade you when you're writing a blog post, and it will say, I don't know, I always seem like I get the unhappy face or something when I'm doing it. But it seems to me like even in just the blog post, it's the same kind of thing, right? So what you're putting in for your keywords, you want to have, it would be things that people are searching for. And then those keywords are appearing in your blog actual article. So then that's really the juice, right? That's what powers it all. Do I have that right?
Yeah, yeah. And if you can get them in those, like your headings, you know, because if you have like a title and then you have some subheadings on that blog, you know, if you can kind of work them into the subheadings a little bit, even better.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. There's really no shortcut for SEO. I mean, it's just, you know, Google's gotten so smart that it's just, I remember back in the old days, people would put in like transparent text on the bottom of their page, like all these keywords and things, hoping that Google would rank them higher for putting, you know, best Montessori school in the world 27 times on their page, but it doesn't work that way. There's really no shortcuts. So, yeah, all right. Well, we're up to the end of the hour here. So what do we have on deck for next week, Camilla?
So next week, we're going to be joined by Lorena Seidel. She's going to be giving a presentation on how school leaders can work with teachers so that they can work together with parents to tackle those behavior or discipline issues and really build a bridge between home and school. So if that's something that you're interested in, please join us next week. It'll be free to register. And you can start registering from today. So hopefully I'll see you there next week.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We'll have this posted by tomorrow, and I'll put my slides there with the links and everything if you want to play around. Some of those tools are kind of fun to play with. So thank you, Tina, for the kudos there. All right. Have a good rest of your Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you.